And here we go. We are in open mode, so our racers have already technically completed the escape, and we get a sword right out of Link's house.
Yep, so no hunting around swordless for an hour in this seed. I've had one too many of those experiences recently.
We got Chloe making their way up to Uncle Escape and got a 20 rupees in the sanctuary.
Yeah, Scary Olive is already off to check the lumberjack tree. Trenter TR is taking the southwest route toward Wolf. Ooh, we got a green pendant at Hera and a regular pendant at Desert. No, a green pendant at Eastern. Green pendant at Eastern, regular pendant at Desert. Could not catch Hera, actually. Okay, all of our runners are doing different things now.
We see Trenter farming for bombs there in the south of the Grove. Two bombs and two of these bushes have 50-50 chance. He gets both of them right there.
Yep, 3 bombs is a nice safe amount to use to make your way up to Kakariko Village. So Trenter's going to continue, going to give us a look at the race game, I imagine.
300 rupees on Lumberjack Ledge, and with that sword, Chloe is going to go right into Escape and finish that up.
Right, Chloe does not have a lamp, so completing Escape all the way through to Sanctuary is not in logic, but runners who, at this stage of the tournament, runners who are serious about making it through the qualifiers will be able to do those dark rooms. We got a book in the drop down in the Lost Woods.
And with that book there, we may actually see a pedestal check relatively early.
Absolutely, and we have the bow at the race game. So we got a book and we got a bow. We got some bombs, a book, and a bow. We got our B items. I guess we're gonna get Burna next.
Bice Rod. And we are actually going to go ahead and get that pedestal check from Duke Firebird. Going to get some information there that our other racers do not necessarily have and won't have for a while, maybe. If he knows that this is a pedestal seed, which it's a bottle, so not necessarily a pedestal seed.
Not necessarily. It could be the case that that's like the only bottle we have access to when we need to get sick in. That's exceedingly unlikely. So Trenter is going to farm up some more bombs in this hut down here in the bottom of Kakariko Village.
Chloe playing a dangerous game with a half heart against the ball and chain guard, gets some bombs for their trouble and saves and quits out.
Right, Duke Firebird is hoping to pull some bombs out of these chests, but no luck. We'll have to come back to bomb that wall and escape. Another change in version 30 is that the ammo capacities are no longer in the item pool, so you will never get bomb expansions or arrow expansions. They've gone back to being just 3 bombs and 10 arrows, which means you're more likely now than you were in the past to get bombs out of a chest, which makes diving into the well without bombs a little better of a risk, but did not pay off for Duke Firebird.
If our racers want, they can go and purchase some upgrades from the ferry at Lake Hylia Island, but I don't necessarily see them doing that this race.
Yeah, we just got Quake and Mirror from the Blind's hut. So we're amassing some stockpile of items here. And we got the cape.
Taking a look at the library, and just a piece of heart there, so we're not going to be doing much with that later on. So with V30, we did see a lot of new sprites come up. I don't think necessarily any of these are the newer sprites. We got Scary Olive playing Zero Suit Samus. We got Qualifier playing Fox Link. Trencher is playing as one of the maidens, and Duke Firebird is playing as. That's most likely regular Link. It could be hat color Link or tunic color Link.
Duke Firebird sees the bow, almost saves and quits, and is like, I probably want that.
So we are getting our first look at south of Link's house here, southern Hyrule. Scary Olive is making their way to the dam.
Yeah, with the mirror in hand, Scary Olive has the option of saving a little bit of time here by using a block delete. Let's see if Scary Olive goes for that. Yep, here it is. In the Japanese version of the game that we are using as the base of the randomizer, you can erase blocks by hammering on the mirror while you push them. But I would recommend that you don't try doing this in a dungeon.
Yep, that will only work in places where the mirror normally won't do anything. If you do it in a place where the mirror will do something, it'll just do its normal thing, and sometimes you get sent all the way back out of Swamp Palace when you're checking out left side. Not that that's happened.
Theoretical discussion only, of course.
Now, we do have an update from the Twitch chat. Duke Firebird is using hat color Link.
So we'll be ready to see the eggplant suit, perhaps.
Now, we've seen two of our tree pulls so far, just some small magics. Oh, and there's the flute in Mini Moldorm Cave. This seed is opening up pretty wildly.
Yep, we got a flute, we got a mirror that gives us some access up on Death Mountain. We can get all the way to Hera. Without a fire source, we might not be able to complete it.
We got a sword, we got a bow, and we'll see what's in the back of Sasha Banks' house here. And it is the blue mail, 20 rupees, and 20 more rupees.
All right. Now, Trenter is heading out, so it's possible that Trenter is heading into Eastern Palace. I can't imagine what else Trenter would be doing. Eastern Palace is not technically within logic, again, because we don't have a light source to see through the dark, but all of our runners should be able to handle that dark room, and we can see what's on the green pendant really early here.
Yeah, Eastern's got some of the easier dark rooms in the game, except for the room behind the big key door. That Igor can cause a little bit of trouble. Thankfully, he does have a blue mail at this point, but still with 5 hearts, that's that Igor in the dark can cause some damage.
Yeah, we'll see if our runners get there, we'll see what strategies they choose to employ. There's a few different ways you can handle that room. If you have the fire rod, you can just turn immediately left or right and light up one of the torches. But without, you kind of have to sort of triangulate the position of the Igor by nailing it with an arrow and seeing where it is.
We got our first item out of Eastern, and it is a piece of heart.
Yeah. Coming into a pendant dungeon like Eastern here is made a little more valuable than it might otherwise be, because number one, it's the green pendant, so that's an extra item and we can turn it in right outside. And number two, Eastern Palace has one of those hint tiles that we mentioned in the intro, so we might get some intel that'll help us out later on in the seed.
Yeah, if you haven't watched one of these randomizer races before, you should be able to tell by now that all the item locations are kind of mixed up. There are a few that have special rules, and one of them is the item that would normally be where the Pegasus boots are, which is held by Sahasrara. You do need the green pendant, and that can be in any of the 10 dungeons.
Yep, it just happens to be the case that that green pendant is located in its vanilla dungeon today.
Looks like we are about to see our first hint tile, and a unique item requires the cape. So Bumper Cave, it looks like, is going to have something that you can only get there.
Absolutely. The Bumper Cave... Ooh, we get a mushroom. That could be helpful. The Bumper Cave is the only location in the game that's considered to be locked by the cape and nothing but the cape. There are other places where you might be required to use an invincibility item, but Bumper Cave is specifically the cape location when you get that hint.
Now, Trenter is taking on the two easiest dark rooms in the game. One is just a circle, and one is move up a little and then go right and get a key, then make your way back.
Yep, and we see Trenter using the common strategy of holding out your sword so you can use those little twinkles to guide where you are in the room.
And good damage boost through the anti-fairies there by Trenter. Do not make the same mistake I did in a race the other day and do that with only about a heart left.
Yep, if you get to that room and you're a bit short, there are hearts in the two pots there. So if you want to do that damage boost, or if you want to take the intended strategy of killing all the enemies, you can get a refill there. So Trenter is aware that this Dex Dark Room is the challenging one and is going to pick up some fairies here to make this room as smooth as possible.
So what you will likely see is Trenter is going to be holding out his sword to make sure we see where he is. Going to shoot some arrows until he sees one stop halfway up. And that is the Igor. He's going to activate it and then hopefully shoot a couple more arrows when it moves and grab that key, which he is going to do. Oh, taking some damage. Now he's got to find that key.
Doesn't have the key yet. Alright, there's the key.
And now actually the trickiest part of this is lifting that pot and getting out of here. And he's got half a heart to do so. And he is on that second floor.
Yeah, you can't just walk straight up to the back wall, because the pot is like half a tile below the wall, so you have to get to the back wall, shift down a little bit to get that pot to get to the staircase.
Now, we see him taking a couple safety hearts here. You definitely do not want to take a death at this point in the race, and at this point in Eastern. And these red Igors are why we consider Eastern to be bow-locked. They are only killable with the bow, and you have to kill 3 of them to be able to access the boss.
Yep. While we're on the topic of hints, interestingly enough, if you get a hint that an item is hard locked by the bow, that only refers to Helmasaur King, because the hints are designed to be applicable in any game mode, and the lock here is based on the enemy. So in Randomizer, this place might not be bow locked, but the boss of Palace of Darkness is always bow locked no matter what.
Speaking of hints, we just got another one in Desert where Duke Firebird is, and that is just saying there are arrows in Mimic Cave.
Yep, sometimes a negative hint like that is not a bad find. It means we don't have to go to Mimic Cave, waste that time. But something else that's particularly valuable here in Desert are those gloves that Duke Firebird just picked up.
Not necessarily where they normally are, but do people still hate the word French vanilla? Do we still hate that? Okay, we're not going to use it.
And Duke Firebird is going to show us a little more of an interesting strategy, which is to steal a key from the back of Desert. Very interesting. And we just got a full heart container from Sahasrara. Chloe Prower did not even go into Sahasrara's closet before heading into Eastern. Just went straight to Eastern, got the green pendant, and got the Sahasrara item all at the same time as the closet items.
That mushroom, only 50 rupees. Not that great of a turnaround for it, but I mean, they're getting some potions out of it.
Yes, that's true. Some runners might consider holding on to that mushroom, hoping perhaps to do a fake powder glitch later on in the seed, but this early in the seed, we don't have Dark World access. We don't even have Aghanim access. We're just kind of scrambling for where items might be. Duke Firebird is going to give us a peek at Agina's Cave, which is a location that is often orphaned. It's just way out of the way, and once you're inside it, you still have to take this big, long walk.
You know, though, with those gloves, that does open up Tim Burton's Big Fish.
This is true. As of right now, only Scary Olive has the money for Zora. But our runners have ways of acquiring money. We could see some hula hand strats or some farming.
But we still have Death Mountain that is accessible to us with that flute. I haven't caught if anybody has activated it yet.
No, I don't think we've seen a flute activation yet. All of our runners have just been all around the board. They're 4 completely different places right now. And I don't think any of them have made it to that flute spot.
Well, Chloe and Trent just got their flutes, or Trent's about to get his. Looks like Chloe's probably going to go ahead and make the play to go and activate it. Duke did activate his. Okay.
Alright, so Duke is going to show us another sequence break here. You can get up to Death Mountain, but until you have the lamp, rescuing the old man is not considered to be a logical play. But Duke Firebird is not going to have too much difficulty with this.
Good early Dark Rune to learn. The bats aren't going to, or the keys aren't going to be too much of a trouble for you. The only thing to really be careful about is there is a pit in the first room that can cause a little bit of trouble. But overall, I'm sorry, I should be quiet. Alright, with that said, Chloe has activated her flute, and Big Firebird is on his way up Death Mountain, not getting much from the old man. Now, we're going to see what's on the spectral.
Sick Kid is paying a lot of money today, because we did get a bottle in Eastern, so as soon as we saw that bottle in Eastern, we knew pedestal wasn't required. But Sick Kid doesn't have much in the way of use, though I guess it does give us some measure of Zora money. There's a rod of some sort. I think it was the fire rod sitting on top of Spectacle Rock.
That was definitely the fire rod.
Well, that's a fire source.
You'll see Duke making the play of now just jumping down there to go into Spectacle Rock. Normally you would check that, but with the hit tile up here, that boots are in Thieves Town.
Yep, one of the hints is guaranteed to be about the boots. I myself have not gotten it in any of my seeds, but we get that hint nice there. So now we know exactly where the boots are, and I'm sure that all of our runners who have that information will be heading into Thieves Town looking for those boots eagerly. We see Duke Firebird taking a long walk out of the Spectacle Rock Cave. There is a bomb jump that you can use to get across that gap. It's a little tricky because you have to sort of nudge your way into the wall and let the wall push you out to get across there. But it would save a little bit of time getting back to this staircase and climbing back up. You don't have to do that. You can just head straight out the front door. We'll see if one of our other runners can pull off that bomb jump.
And with Fire Rod on Spectacle Rock, that means Tower of Hera is fully completable for us.
Yes, indeed. Whether or not there is something important in the basement, we'll be able to get it now that we have a fire source. We'll also be able to, as Duke Firebird is going to show us, get a read of the item that's on the tablet here. Without a Master Sword or better, we can't grab it.
Oh, and there is a map check for the Dark World. It looks like Turtle Rock is going to be our red pendant, and our 5 and 6 crystals are going to be on Palace of Darkness and Ice Palace.
Interesting. Duke Firebird showed us that the Ether tablet has a mail upgrade on it. So it is not very likely that we're going to be seeing red mail on our runners today. Or eggplant mail, as the case may be.
piece of heart and a sword upgrade is in the Pyramid Fairy.
Interesting. Interesting.
Now, that is something we might see our racers do. If they've got Master Sword before Ganon, if they don't feel comfortable with Master Sword, then they may just go ahead and grab that Tempered.
Yeah, the Pyramid Fairy is not all that out of the way if you're going to be going straight into the Ganon fight. If you make it through Ganon's tower and you might even make it through Ganon's tower with just Fighter Sword, and then you kind of have to do that. But if you're not comfortable with your Master Sword fight, you bomb up in the Pyramid, and then you're right there to drop into the Ganon fight.
Yeah, there are really only a few things that Master Sword is 100% required for. Is for the tablets, it is to, and Ganon, that's it.
The second hint tablet in Terra tells us that some cache is hidden in plain sight. There's a few items that meet that. That could be, we've seen Spectacle Rock Cave, it could be the item on Spectacle Rock, which we've also seen. Either of the torches, it's not the Bumper Cave this seed, but it could be in a different seed. A desert ledge, a few more things that I am not thinking of right now.
We do know that, that hard hat beetle just passed through that barrier on Chloe's screen.
Wall hacks.
But we do know that the Lumberjack Ledge does have 300 rupees on it, I believe, so that could be what it's referring to, but this is one of the, it's a real hint, but it's still vague.
Yeah, those hints you don't pay too much attention to, especially because items in plain sight can, mostly be checked before you have to worry about how to get them, hence plain sight. Duke Firebird is the first of our runners with the crystal, taking care of Moldorm with the Fighter Sword. It's a long fight, but of course that's how you're supposed to be doing it in the vanilla game.
Duke is also going to give us a look at Ice Rock Cave, it looks like. After that, we basically got Zora, and then if he finds a lamp soon, then we're looking at Aghanim. If he finds anything else, then we're probably not looking at Aghanim.
Yep, you're exactly right. We're running pretty low on locations here.
We basically have Zora to check at this point, and Chloe taking a tough fall to Moldorm.
Yep. Duke Firebird has not headed into the Eastern Palace area, so that's where Duke is going now.
Now there is always the possibility of fake flippering to the convict and to actually without the Moon Pearl you can't check Waterfall Cave, but
yeah, that is true. So a fake flipper would get you Hobo, and that's about it. Chloe took another Moldorm fall there. Not playing nice today.
I mean, this is a boss that literally nobody likes.
Yeah, Chloe just barely avoided a center hole and then took a side hole fall. So, Scary Olive is in the basement of Hera. Did we see that on Duke Firebird's side? Is there an item in here?
I don't think we did.
An item in here, perhaps, that Duke Firebird elected to skip.
And Chloe's down to a half of a heart with 4 Moldorm falls.
Yeah, those pots stacked up on the 5th floor there all have hearts.
Oh my gosh!
Oh.
Oh, Duke Silver, my man. You missed that hammer.
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem for Duke. Also, if only Chloe knew about that, they would head down and get that, because that's a much better weapon from Moldorm.
Yeah, you need 3 hammer shots versus the 6 fighter sword shots, and plus you don't make Moldorm angry.
So we saw Chloe hit that switch there. That means those pots will be accessible. So if Chloe continues to have some bad luck with Moldorm, they'll be able to refill their health.
So now Aga is only required if Moon Pearl is on Pyramid at this
Well,
point.
we've got Moon Pearl on the
Oh.
trackers on the left. Was that at Moldorm or in upstairs? It might have been at Moldorm. Quads are hard. I say that every time I commentate a quad. I started commentating during the spring tournament and I was spoiled because we only did 2 racers at a time.
And Chloe using some cape strats here on Moldorm. I would too after Moldorm has messed with me that much.
Yep. Yeah, there's the Moon Pearl. It was on Moldorm. I'm gonna just blame it. It's basically the same color as the explosions, so that's my excuse.
I just wasn't paying attention to the other 2 at that point.
So all of our Dark World access concerns are now resolved. I mean, except for Duke Firebird, who made an unfortunate gamble there, leaving that item.
And Scary Olive is going to be our first to go into Dark World proper and show us Hype Cave. Which we got a pretty decent amount of items for a Light World clear. And oh no, okay, thought Chloe locked herself there for a second, but Hype Cave starting us off with half magic, going into a piece of heart, small shield, some bombs, and the hook shot. That is absolutely definitely I would call that a good Hype Cave. Get the hook shot, which is going to be required. Half magic's really nice.
Yeah, I will take it. I think that's pretty nice.
And Chloe gets her hammer and is probably kicking herself for not having that against Moldorm. And Trencher kills Moldorms and gets the Moon Pearl there as well.
Yeah, you might be kicking yourself for not having the hammer on Moldorm, but making the play to Hera Basement before knowing whether there's an item there is, like, almost never done. Scary Olive is heading in the direction of Pod. Scary Olive has the bow and the hammer, and so can complete the dungeon with a little bit of skill and some dark rooms here. These dark rooms not quite as easy as the one in Eastern Palace.
Now, I do believe it is legal for our racers to have supplemental items near them, such as maps of the dark rooms. The dark maze in the back of Pod is definitely one that you might want to have a map open for. However, there's also the turtle room, which can be quite a danger to do in the dark.
Right. The redeeming feature about the turtle room for our runners this seat is that there are 2 torches in it, and you can light them up with the fire rod and see what you're doing in that room. You just have to make it to the torches and light them up before the turtles get in your way, which I still myself can't do 100% of the time.
I've seen people clear that with I think only 3 turtle or 3 hammer hits, which is insane.
Yep. Here's the hammer for Trenter. Oh no, Duke never went back to bomb this wall, so that's what Duke is checking now.
Paradox Cave just being a bunch of bombs and rupees. And Duke is going to make the hobo and the Zora play with the fake flippers.
Oh, that's a nice hint.
That might be one of the best ones in the game right there.
Nobody has to do left swamp this seed. So I'm thinking, Duke Firebird is sequence breaking to Hobo now. What could be really bad for Duke Firebird is if, like, this gives him more access, something like Titan's Mitts, and that just keeps him away from that hammer.
Mitch would be the worst thing to get here.
You'd-
Piece of Heart is probably one of the better things to get here.
Yeah, if you're going to be sequence breaking and you get an item, something like a sword upgrade or a mail upgrade is usually great because it helps you out, but it doesn't end up confusing you. Our runners, some of them probably do know how to keep the logic straight in their head. Like, I got this item, but I sequence broke for it, this, that, and the other thing. But it's not the easiest thing in the world to keep track of all of that.
Yeah, if commentators have enough trouble with it just watching, doing it while playing is even like 10 times as hard.
Duke Firebird does have the Moon Pearl, so we will make use of this water walking glitch to check 2 items here. They're not great items, but they're items.
Now we're going to get our first look to see what Zora has. Oh, and there's Berna.
Right, we already have an invincibility item in the cape, so that burn is not going to be required this seed.
So one thing you will notice, Duke is doing his best to stay on the deep water. When you're water walking and you're on the deep water, you will move at the speed of swimming, which is actually faster than just walking.
Alright, so with 4 hearts, Scary Olive is going to be making their way into the Dark Mason pod. Let's see how this goes. Or let's not see and just hope it goes well.
One of the 2 dark chests is a group of bombs. Duke is going into the back of Escape.
Right, Chad is getting worried that if Duke doesn't find anything here, we may see Duke make a Dark Aghanim play. And I believe the key that Duke has was in the back of Escape, so I think the only thing Duke is checking here is the Dark Cross chest.
It is 50 rupees. Using those little used torches there to be able to see in the back of Escape.
So now Duke is thinking, it looks like. I wonder... Okay, Duke is heading to Mountain Cave, which indicates that they probably know what's up. Maybe not. Duke has the flute here. Alright, here's the mushroom turn-in. Duke might have been holding that because he's thinking about that fake powder, but if you don't know what else to do and you really don't want to go back to Hera Basement...
Yeah, sometimes, even though... Sometimes you just don't want to do it just because you don't want the feeling of, oh, I was wrong. Hera Basement is kind of a long play to make, but I think more so than that, Duke just doesn't want to be like, oh, yep, I messed up.
So Duke is having a bit of thinking time here. I wonder if perhaps Duke didn't intentionally skip Hera Basement. Maybe Duke miscounted items in Hera and doesn't know there's an item there. Oh, this is a bad sign on Duke's side.
Uncle Bomb's in the cave south of Grove.
Yep, we have that mirror, so it makes these Dark World checks a little more convenient. Alright, folks. It looks like Duke is committing to a very rarely seen play in Randomizer, which is Dark Aghanim.
There's a turtle in the teleport room.
I hope for Duke's sake, I just hope that there's some redeeming hint on the tablet upstairs in Aghanim. Because he's going to be probably the only person who sees that hint. Scary Olive, meanwhile, is giving us a Helmasaur kill. Only has the fighter sword, so once we get to the second phase, we might see a series of arrows. 8 arrows to the jewel will take this guy out. Provided they hit.
Yeah, unfortunately, he does get a little skittish once you break that mask.
Well, at least we have the fire rod to make this slightly less painful. This will also... Another benefit that Duke gains from this is it will make getting that sword from the Pyramid Fairy easier if Duke opts to do that. So we can try and look for upsides in this for Duke.
I don't think I caught the... There's only the one hint tile in pod, right? And that was the left side of Swamp.
Yeah, there's only one hint in pod, that's it.
V30 is making us all learn things that we've never had to use in Zelda for 25 years.
Yeah, I think my first version 30 seed, I was like, where's the hint tile in Skull Woods? I'm looking all over for it, and there is no hint tile in Skull Woods.
Yeah, I completely forgot about the one on top of Hera.
And there's a hint tile just sitting in the Dark World Lake Hylia area that, like, nobody knows about, ever. Unless they play, like, Entrance Randomizer.
Chess game only having bombs. Chloe is going to be the first to get boots here in a second. Can't imagine can't imagine seeing that hint and not going directly here into Thieves Town.
Yeah, but, you know, Scary Olive didn't make that choice. Scary Olive, I think, saw that hint too, and did not go into Thieves Town.
I don't know if Scary Olive checked the hint. I know somebody didn't.
Oh... Duke gets a joke hint in Aga Tower, so no redeeming hint here. have to say, though, Duke has some pretty sweet execution heading up this tower. Taking out these guards, no problem. Making use of that boomerang.
Yeah, if you want to talk about like difficult dark rooms, like Aga Tower has the most difficult dark rooms in the game. Like one could argue the room that you need Samaria for in Misery Mire, but some of these dark rooms have pits like all around you, similar to the room that he's in right now. And yeah, absolutely killer job. Just completely unnecessary. And Chloe gets the boots out of Thieves Town.
Yep, it's a great place to find them. A lot of straight corridors like this.
It's a great place to have hookshot too. Lots of places that you can hook very easily. What are they called? Zigzags. Those do get stunned by hookshot.
Yep, and now that we have the boots, we have the whole mobility package. We have the boots, the flute, the hookshot. I haven't been keeping track of blue balls in the Aghanim fight, but it looks like this tower is going to be continuing to troll Duke by giving him a terrible Aga fight.
So Chloe gets a hint as to what's still by Sahasrara, and Scary Olive gets a hint that a unique item is in plain sight. Another one of those sort of, they're not really the joke hint, but they're not necessarily handy, which we could have already seen what that was with both Bumper Cave, knowing that we have a unique item there, and the bow was at the race game. So without hammer, without flippers, without hookshot, Duke is really only going to have access to Pyramid and Pod. Chloe going to give us a look at see what has what the big chest has in here, and it's just a compass, which I believe that means that Blind is going to be holding something for us.
Yeah, Duke is taking a third option. He's not going into Pod. He's actually going to make the climb all the way up to Catfish here. It looks like we pulled the Master Sword out of Swamp Palace. Oof.
That is insult to injury there for Duke. Catfish dropping a single arrow.
Yep. If you didn't hate the single arrow enough already, version 30 considers the single arrow to be a unique item because it is. There's only one of them. So if you get a hint, Catfish has a unique item, you might very well be in store to grab that. Well, we just got the mitts in Swamp, as is so often the case. Something good hiding in Swamp.
And that's a swamp that they did not have to check the left side for at all.
We do get the big key here, so Scary Olive is going to opt to head back in order to check that big key chest. We know it's going to be an item. Now, this is a room you don't see all that often. Just a piece of heart there in the big chest in Swamp, but we knew that was going to be an item, and Scary Olive did not want to come back into this dungeon. Oh, Chloe Prower is heading into Bumper Cave here. Let's take a look at what was on top. I didn't have a chance to see it. It was underneath the HUD. So it looked like a bunch of hearts, but I don't think that's what it was.
No, I had to step away for a second, and happy to see what this unique item on Bumper Cave is. This is the Red Cane.
That's a pretty good unique item, and it's one that we're definitely going to need because Misery Mire is a crystal dungeon.
That has got to be the cane.
This means both canes were sitting in plain sight, one on the Bumper ledge and one on the Zora ledge.
Thankfully, Serial did find that Master Sword in Swamp. Otherwise, we'd be seeing a lot of menus right now. I don't believe these excuse me. I don't believe these pups are damageable by the Fighter Sword. We would have to do a lot of hammer work there.
Yep, hammers are spin attacks. Duke Firebird is not going to find the hammer here in Pod, of course, so this is going to be a double dip for Duke, no matter what.
Chloe, however, finds the lamp in the King's Tomb.
What an interesting deep place to put it in the seat. So that means that lamp is locked by the Boots in Thieves Town. Yeah. Look at that. When and if Duke finds out where that lamp is, that will be his clue that Hera Basement is something that he needs and it's not the lamp. He'll have a sinking feeling in his stomach that he did Dark Aghanim for nothing.
Well, here's the benefit of getting that Master Sword. Scary Olive is going to go ahead and get the Bombos tablet.
Yeah, that's some great routing. It's right here in the vicinity. So I think at this point you go to Mire and you see what the medallion is, right? Yeah. Because
if it's Quake, you do Mire.
Yeah, I mean, Zelda pointed out. Oh no, Scary Olive doesn't have the cane.
Oh yeah.
So we depending on this medallion might know everything about this seat. Zelda pointed that out in chat. It is Quake. Look at that. At least I think it was Quake. The 4 pixels I saw looked like Quake.
That was definitely Quake, and I think that officially puts us in no mode.
Yeah, we as the commentators and the audience, we know everything about the seed that we need to get. The things that we might want to get are things like the silver arrows, the better swords. We know where one of the better swords is, though, so... And I think it was Phyleon who pointed out earlier a really good point that if you don't find the silver arrows by the time you make it to Ganon, it's probably a time save and definitely a frustration save to grab that sword from the Pyramid Fairy. Scary Olive is up here on Death Mountain. Now that Scary Olive has the mitts, this is probably... I mean, it's definitely... I can't imagine why else you'd be here if not for a Dark Death Mountain check. And a Dead Rock Troll on the side.
What a horrible enemy.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes video game designers are like, I feel like making a lot of people sad. And then they do it, and like, why? Why would you do it?
Like, you don't get any sort of good feeling because you can't kill them. They're just there to annoy you.
Yeah, there's no satisfaction in them. Some enemies, they beat the crap out of you, and then you satisfied that you killed them. You can't even kill them unless you, like, pull out the powder and you sprinkle on them, and then they just turn into weird blobs. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, once you have like the butter sword or silver arrows and you kill like one of the hard hat beetles, like the red ones, in like 1 or 2 slashes, like that feels really good. These guys, you can't do anything with them. They're the worst enemy in the game.
So, it doesn't look like Scary Olive gets much worth there in the Hookshot Cave. So there's 2 hints that Scary Olive should really be operating on now. I don't know if Scary Olive saw both of them, but the hint about where the boots are in Thieves Town and the hint about a unique item on Bumper Cave, those are things that Scary Olive should be thinking about right now, if he's seen those hints. Alright, Duke Firebird is going to show us another interesting thing. He's going to show us a hint tablet that very seldom gets seen, because this is a location that, like, when do you ever come to? The Dark World Shopping Mall, as people who play Entrance Randomizer might call it. Oh, it's a duplicate hint for the boots. And Duke Firebird, if I'm reading the items correctly, doesn't actually have access to Thieves Town at this point. If we had the hammer, we could use the portal on that side. If we had the mitts, we could use the portal on that side. If we had the flippers and the hook shot, or if we just had the hook shot, I think we could get there, but... Oh boy, it looks...
He might be on his way up to Hera as Scary Olive enters Ice Palace.
Quake is in Blind's hideout. Yes, thank you. We got that. Yes. For those of you who hate Ice Palace, it is a little bit more valuable in version 30 now that we can get 3 hints out of it. The Dead Rocks strike again, adding a little more insult to Duke, making this walk of shame back into Hera. Duke, it's the other way. Oh, Duke doesn't have a small key. Oh.
He didn't get the big key chest? Or the big chest?
Yeah, he must be missing one of these chests on the 4th. Yeah, did not get the big key chest, which... The big chest, which must have the small key in it. Ugh. Oh, that explains it. Alright, Scary Olive gonna be pulling off the Ice Palace bomb jump to get through here. Trenter is on the way into Skullwoods with that fire rod, so we're going to be seeing some dungeon clears all around here.
Trender taking a fortunate death. That was probably intentional, just to refill some hearts.
Yep, Mothula is no joke. Half magic, though, feels really good. You just get to barbecue the damn thing.
And unless Trenter has let it free, he does have the Bee of Mothula's Bane. And can't damage Mothula that way. And it just keeps getting worse for Duke. Locked himself onto the pegs. Just one of those, hey, this dumb thing happens once out of 100 times, and it just so happened to happen here.
Yeah, it's a really tight pixel window too. You have to be like lined up on the blocks just right. Ugh. So Trenter gets Mothula down without too much difficulty. The classic look away, look back, boss is dead thing. And Duke gets the hammer and is not happy, I am sure.
A bit of a rage quake there, killing the Red Stalfos afterwards.
Yep. Well, normally we say when you're locked by an item like the hammer or the Titan's mitts, you're usually pretty well funneled into where that item is. But Duke managed to do a lot of things that were unnecessary because he did not have that hammer, including Dark Aghanim's tower.
And Chloe gets her Master Sword, and will shortly be entering Go mode if my sources are correct.
Yeah, it looks like it to me. It's a Master Sword Silverless Go mode, which is a little worrisome to some people. We'll see how Chloe handles it.
I say sources like I'm not just looking at the tracker.
We have reports coming in from all across Hyrule.
Yep, and there are the mitts, which puts Chloe in Go mode.
Absolutely. Duke enters the incorrect cave up there on the east side of Death Mountain. Probably a little bit of tilt bleeding through there.
Oh, I'll never remember which is which.
It's the right cave in the light world and the left cave in the dark world, I think. That's one of those things that I muscle memory. I couldn't tell you which one it is. I just happened to do the right one 9 times out of 10.
I mean, right rhymes with light, and left rhymes with dark.
Yeah, so let's hope that's the correct one so that we can use that mnemonic. Also, you're a regular poet, Virtua Cat.
I do words good. And Cold Stare's down for Scary Olive. And Scary Olive needs to make their way over to Thieves Town. Get them boops.
Yep.
Which is probably about to happen here shortly. They may do Skullwoods first, but...
Yeah, Boots and Thieves and the Red Cane... What? Okay, Scary Olive is heading somewhere else.
Oh, Scary Olive has you can get that big red bomb.
Yeah, that's certainly an option. I mean, you'll have to spend a little bit of time grabbing it, but the firepower upgrade will be quite nice. So at 1 hour and 1 minute, Duke is getting their first Dark World map check. That's really rough. Scary Olive gets a bomb dupe there. If you happen to screen transition just as the bomb is set to explode, it will just appear behind you and you can go on carrying it. So, Scary Olive is applying the hint about the something sharp. Should be working on those hints about Thieves Town and Bumper Cave. Those will be the next hints to follow. Scary Olive gets the Tempered Sword and leaves immediately. Does not need that. Don't even remember what it was. Alright, so Trenter has blazed through Thieves Town, got the boots, took care of Blind. No issues there. And has retrieved the Cane of Samaria from the ledge, and so that suggests to me, if I'm reading the tracker correctly, that Trenter is now in go mode. And we'll be heading to Swamp Palace here. Meanwhile, Chloe is in Misery Mire. We'll be able to complete this dungeon. We mentioned earlier about dark rooms. Misery Mire has some of the trickier dark rooms in the game, but Chloe, unique among our featured runners, did get the lamp from King's Tomb. And also seems to have gotten what we call the God Mire. Gets the big key nice and early, heads right down into the basement. Chloe knows they are in go mode. And so this will be a nice, quick mire here. And Scary Olive is heading in the right direction to get the lamp from King's Tomb, if they mirror right here, and the Cane of Samaria from the bumper ledge. So, Chloe is going to have to pull off a Master Sword Silverless Vitreous fight here. It's not the most unpleasant way you can do Vitreous, but it's certainly not preferable. Chloe opting to use Cape Strats here. That's right, I misspoke. Scary Olive can't get the lamp because Scary Olive hasn't gotten the boots out of Thieves Town yet. That's right. Chloe, with those cape strats, makes quick work of the little eyeballs and needs to put 8 arrows into the big one to finish off the Vitreous fight. Trenter finishes off a bunch of those Pengators at the same time with the hook shot. And that is our first Misery Mire clear on stream, coming from Chloe Prower. Trenter, just chewing his way through dungeons, is going to be heading into Cold Stare right now. After Cold Stare, Trenter will have the option of doing the same thing Scary Olive did and getting the Tempered Sword from the Pyramid Fairy. Not the Mirror, Trenter. You do not want to use the Mirror in this fight. Not the Mirror. Trenter gets down to 1 Puffball but is out of magic, puts 1 Spin Attack into Cold Stare and gets the job done just as Duke Firebird enters the blind fight and sets up for our scripted fight. Ooh, gets a spin off there, and therefore Duke Firebird is now in the sort of alternate cycle where blind goes the other way and it gets a little out of hand. I don't think Duke is going to have any trouble, but it is not our usual script.
Nah, thankfully Blind's one of those bosses that takes the same amount of damage from pretty much everything. Not really that difficult of a boss once you get the tricks down.
So Duke Firebird gets, unfortunately for Duke, his second crystal here at 1 hour and 7 minutes. Meanwhile, Trenter is indeed on the way to the Pyramid Fairy. Also wants to have the Tempered Sword at a minimum.
Chloe Prower, is she going to jump from there? And she does with the bomb jump.
Yep, Ice Palace is a great dungeon to go mode because you make that bomb jump, you head right down to the bottom, and you finish it up in somewhere around 3 minutes. It's not that bad at all.
With the Red Cane, you don't really even necessarily need to do the bomb jump, but it does save you quite a bit of time.
Chloe opts not to get that Freeze Ore chest. Even when runners are in go mode, if they're still hurting on offense, they don't have a sword, they're missing the silvers, a lot of them will opt to check that Freeze Ore chest. It's just 2 Fire Rod shots, and you'll be able to grab an item there without spending too much time. If I still had Master Sword and Silverless, I would do it myself.
And Trenter, knowing that is the Master Sword or the Sword upgrade is the only thing he wants out of there, just lose Pyramid Fairy after getting 1 chest.
Yep, both Trenter and Scary Olive made the right 50-50 guess, opened that chest and got the sword first, and then headed out. I wonder if the hint is in the right order. I wonder if the hint is always left chest, right chest, so you know which one it is. I haven't thought about that. I suppose we could check the source code to figure that out. Like, oh, that's a good question, because what if the hint for Swamp Palace says, like, 1 important item is there and 1 useless item is there? Does the order in which the items are listed determine the order which one is on the left and which one's on the right? Interesting. I'll have to look this up.
Chloe with a good Cold Stare, getting the Ice Rod, which is not going to be used this race.
Nope. Scary Olive forgetting to grab the big key from Thieves Town. Probably got the boots and got awfully excited and then forgot these chests.
I mean, this is near the end of the qualifier, or the qualifiers, and I can understand getting a little ahead of yourself.
Yep. And this is a really early go mode too. I know my brain goes to mush when I get a really early go mode. Like, I should just go straight to the... No, I can't do that. Never mind. The last time I had a really early go mode, I forgot to get the small key in Skull Woods, so I had to backtrack a little bit, grab the key from that room so I could make my way to Mothula.
And what a time to go mode Meyer, having that big key just there at the end of that bridge, making Meyer a very, very fast go mode.
Yeah, the only way you could improve on that is if our runners could hover across from the right bridge to the left bridge. I have seen it done in a race. I believe it was Cransoon who had the godliest of god Myers. He got that big key right there, hovered right across the bridge to finish it up.
Chloe going to go ahead and pick up the Tempered Sword as well.
Chloe going to be the first of our runners to open both chests, instead of just lucking out and getting the Tempered on the first one.
So this one, Chloe just needs to do Skull Woods, and Chloe will then be on her way up to Gannis Tower.
Yeah.
Trenter, however, just needs to do Dark Mire. Looks like he has made his way through to the bomb and the switch room.
Yes, indeed. So Trenter through the dark and has, or almost through the dark. There we go. And Trenter has the Tempered Sword to take care of Vitreous, so this is going to be an easier fight. Trenter is a little low on health, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But I believe we've got some potions. I'm not sure. Some of our runners have potions. I'm not sure if Trenter does.
We know they only have at max 3 bottles.
Well, Trenter, our tracker says 1 bottle, but the bottle I see is a B. So Trenter is going to be using some capes here. Showing off a really useful thing to know, that if you spam the sword, the game just sort of forgets to deduct the magic for the cape, and it doesn't use magic all that quickly. So you can just spam your sword and get through that fight, no trouble.
And it makes sense that a giant eyeball's weakness would be literally a very pointy thing going into it. So Trenter does pull out the bow, finishes off Vitreous, and Trenter will be our first racer with all 7 crystals. And they're going to be making their way up to the Tower of Ganon.
Indeed. So we're not going to be running a bot or a contest or a leaderboard or anything, but if you want, you can get a number in the chat. There are 22 locations in Ganon's Tower where that big key might be located. So, I don't know. Let us know. You have any favorites, Virtua Cat?
I am going to say Rando Room, top left chest.
All right. So, a particular location. I feel like 16 today. Traditional route would put your chest in between 10, 11, 12, and 13, and my chest would be behind Ice Armos.
But it is going to be very close between Trenter and Chloe from this point on. Trenter does have a little bit of a maybe a 10-second head start right now, but Chloe's going to be coming up fast, and Chloe is one of the better execution racers I've seen do a lot of the nightlies, so she can absolutely still take this.
Absolutely. Worth pointing out that we're still a bit rough on total health. We have only barely on Trenter's side. Trenter looks to have exactly 10 hearts, if I can count, which I probably can't. Yeah, 10. And Chloe has 1 fewer, it looks like. So, we do have the blue mail, but that's about it. I suppose our runners, if they really felt like it, they could mirror in front of Ganon's Tower, head to the Ether Tablet, and pick up red mail. That would not be too much of a time loss for a little bit more safety.
I am very, very proud of our featured runners here for consolidating and cooperating to have 4 different heart color choices.
Yeah, look at that. I'm sure that's what the admins are looking for when they pick who's getting restreamed. We must have diversity of heart colors.
Chloe picked the right color, by the way. It's yellow.
I'm a traditionalist. I stick with the red hearts. Ooh, Chloe losing a little bit of time there to the blocks. Chloe is opting to do the climb in the Dark World from the bottom. Well, Trenter, I guess, went to the... Did Trenter go to the usual route, which was the Turtle Rock?
I think
Entrance to the Dark World?
Trenter did from the bottom as well.
Okay, and Trenter is opting to get the red mail. Chloe went from the bottom because Chloe had not checked these caves here at all. So, you know, if silver arrows or another sword happen to be here, it's a great place to find them. So that's an entirely reasonable course of action, I think. I wonder if Chloe is going to do the same thing Trenter did and pick up that red mail. Given that Chloe is making these checks here, it would not surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me either way, actually.
Now we're going to take our first look at the first two chests here. Chest number 1 has ether. Chest number 2 has bombs.
So we are definitely following the traditional route to the right side because we don't have no keys to go to the left. I got my left and my right backwards. Sometimes I do that. We're following the traditional route to the left side because we have no keys for the right side.
There's a key right there on the torch. That's key 3. Pulling for Dark Magician here, but probably not going to see that. I have chest number 4, 5, 6, and 7 here in the Stealth Post room. Chest number 4, a piece of hearts. Chest number 5, 20 rupees. Chest number 6, small key. Chest number 7, piece of heart. And we go look at the stun prize, which is a single rupee.
Yep, which is the vanilla stun prize. So if you're ever playing an NMG run and you're like 2 rupees short for pod, that's how you can guarantee. That's how you can guarantee some rupees.
Chest number 8, Firebar room, 10 arrows. And chest number 9, going to be in the Fire Snake room, and it is another small key. And we're here to the Rando room. Chest 11, 12, 13, and 14. Chest 11, 20 rupees. Chest 12, piece of heart. Chest 13, 20 rupees. Chest 14, 5 rupees.
I think those were 10, 11, 12, and 13, actually.
I'm bad at numbers.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not great at numbers myself. Yeah, 14 will be what we call Bob's chest, and Bob won't be here today. We got a small key off the torch, so our buddy Bob is, he's taking a little break. So it's not chest number 14, so we're going to be seeing an Ice Armos fight. We do not have the silver arrows, so we'll have to put 6 arrows into each of these knights. Number 15 is the map, 16 is a red rupee, and there it is. It's number 17 for the big key. If you're curious about Bob, Bob is a graphical glitch in the anti-fairy above Ice Armos that is triggered if you leave an item on the torch in Ganon's Tower. The item on the torch is normally a small key. In order to make it possible for it to be any item, the developers had to, I believe it's expand the memory allocated for that, and that sort of overwrites Bob's color palette a little bit. And so Bob gets to look unique.
Trenter is going to be starting the gauntlet here in just a moment, getting in some good arrow shots on these red mimics.
Yeah. Down to 2 arrows, which will only be an issue if we happen to find the silver arrows on the way up the tower, but I think we've got refills, if that tends to be the case. Trenter takes a fall and shows us that you have just enough iframes to dash through the entire room when you've got that fall. And Trenter is also going to give us a peek at this room with some safeties in it. Grabs a couple of fairies, can bonk back across this gap, and head into the gauntlet.
So Trenter and Chloe both need to be careful. Oh, Chloe only has the 5 arrows she just picked up.
Chloe makes it through, ekes out that room with the mimics. And Trenter now has 7 arrows, so if we do manage to pick up Ganon's the silver arrows in one of the 4 chests that are remaining, Trenter will be able to use all 4 arrows to finish off Ganon. But, you know, those silver arrows, they could be in a lot of different places. We didn't dip into Turtle Rock at all. We didn't see the right side of Ganon's tower, so Ganon will let us know where those arrows are located. We didn't do the smith sequence at all. No purple chests, no smiths. I don't even think we saw hammer pegs. Our runners just managed to make it into go mode without having to do those things.
Now, we did see a hint that said some arrows are in Mimic Cave. Can that include the silver arrows?
I don't believe some arrows can include the silver arrows. I'm like 95% sure some arrows is just a bundle of arrows.
That'd be mean if they could.
I agree.
It should be done.
They're just some arrows. They're kind of sparkly, but meh.
So this is the these next couple rooms are the most anxiety-inducing rooms in the game, for me at least. Partially because you can despawn the entirety of enemies in Ganon's Tower if you go up the staircase at the wrong time.
Yep, and Trenter has avoided the Ganon's Tower despawn by waiting enough time before heading up that staircase. I believe it's frame perfect. I believe you have to go up on exactly the same frame that the door is closing in the previous room.
That second torch room is also, it gets me every time because I keep thinking that the little Podobo looking dude is going to run into me from the top right, and then he makes the turn.
So, Trenter is on to the final incarnation of Moldorm. With 1 spin and 1 slash, Moldorm 2 will go down. Or with 2 spins, that works too. And we'll see if Trenter really wants those silver arrows. Might give a check to Moldorm's last possessions here. Just $20. So, Tempered Sword, silverless it is.
certainly hope Chloe does better with this Moldorm than she did with the one on top of Hera, because she has a heart and a half.
Chloe did not turn in the mushroom, so Chloe is going to do the fake powder, which is brilliant. Has to be careful with where that anti-fairy is looking, but this'll don't get hit. This'll work just fine. So Chloe will use the you gotta don't pick that up. Use the cane, switch to the mushroom. Got that time, but did not hit the fairy. Not quite. Get out of the way of the... Oh, no! Careful! Careful! Oh, if that magic despawns, it's going to be really rough, because you'll head to the Ganon fight with no magic. Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Ooh. Ooh. So that's probably a mirror to the witch is how you fix that. Mirror, flute to the witch, and then head back. That's probably what you do there. Okay.
She gets the fairy, at least. And
Right.
We got our first look at Boss Hog himself, Trenter, taking us down to Ganon's house. Trying to hum while closing my nose, and it doesn't work.
I don't want to distract from this Ganon fight, but it just occurs to me. Could you hum with your nose closed if you had a tracheotomy tube in? Let's not think about that. Let us watch Ganon. Ooh, Scary Olive takes a death. Taking a death on the way up Ganon's tower is not a fun thing. And very shortly, when Trenter enters the 4th phase of Ganon's fight, we'll see how well he's practiced his silverless strats.
Doing it with 3.5 hearts. Oh, they were in Ganon's tower.
Alright, then they would have been on the right side of the tower room. Trenter misses the torch glitch. It's a bit rough to get it if you only have the fire rod. This is going to be tricky. No torch glitch, only half of a half magic bar, so not going to be the easiest fight here. And only has the fire rod, doesn't have the torch.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it should be 12 slashes?
12 slashes or spins. Most runners will put in spins because the hitbox time is longer. Trenter doing a great job, just gonna has a blue potion at least.
Chloe is not gonna go get any kind of potions. Chloe is here and ready.
So I think Trenter will have enough magic to take this fight down. Yeah, the trick is Ganon is vulnerable for just a frame or two as he starts to teleport away, so you put a spin attack into him to make sure it hits him. Dodge that back, get that spin in.
And there it is for Trenter.
Nicely done. Trenter gets that silverless fight done and should be heading into that doorway under 1 hour and 30 minutes. So when Trenter heads in, we will get you an official SRL time and place. There it is. Trenter TR has finished our race first on our restream and 15th place overall with a time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 47 seconds. GG. All right, we are joined by Trenter. We're going to hold on just a second to get Chloe's official time, and then we will welcome Trenter to the interview room. All right, Chloe's going to go ahead and enter the room, finishing second on our restream, and I should find it before I start talking. Finishing 16th place overall with a time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 1 second. GG. Alrighty then, Trenter. Thank you for joining us. GG.
Thank you. It was a nice race, even though that Eastern Palace wasn't my favorite.
I think the thing that can really be said about your race is you were just consistent the entire way through. There wasn't any kind of like big gambles I think you took. It was just consistent play and consistent routing that just got you to be the first of our featured racers to finish.
Well, thanks for that. I tried to gamble, but that seed actually didn't give a lot of leeway. The only real gamble we had was Eastern Palace or maybe even Desert in the beginning, and both went to null except the hint that we got, and yeah, that was about it.
We are working on getting Chloe in here for an interview as well. Chloe will be here shortly.
In the meantime, we see Duke also going to go ahead and grab that tempered sword before heading over to Misery Mire. While Scary Olive is on Agatu. Now, Trenter, was this your last qualifier, or do you have more in the bag?
I actually have one more. This is my fourth one. I had to kinda do well because the last one I had to forfeit because I had to go in the middle of the race, sadly. So yeah, this is my fourth one. The next one will be soon. I will not disclose when exactly, but yeah, it will be soon. So get a good time there and maybe even make it in the top 96.
Yeah, if you keep pulling out sub 130s, I don't think there's any way you don't make it. But that is a fantastic time for a seed. Yeah, great job.
Yep. GG, we got Chloe in the waiting room. We're going to pull Chloe in. Hello there, Chloe Prower. GG on finishing this seed.
Hi.
So what'd you think?
I think that I should die less to Moldorm and it would be a lot better, but that was pretty awful. Overall the seed wasn't too bad. I mean, for some reason version 30 seems to favor Swamp Palace a ton, and no surprise today that both the sword and the mitts were in Swamp. And the mitts, it was just kind of finish everything else as fast as you can.
Yeah, but you were the first of our runners to enter Go mode, and your execution from that point was pretty consistent there.
Yeah, I mean, I stopped for some safeties. I was hoping to find silvers along the way just because there was so many, like, valuable locations I didn't check. I skipped all the Zora area, I skipped all the Smith route, and, I mean...
Yeah, all of the runners on the restream who are finishing or in the process of finishing, Trenter, you did this too. You picked up the red mail. You stopped on the way up Death Mountain in the dark Death Mountain caves to grab some items. Yeah, you were kind of short on hearts, both of you, heading into Ganon's Tower. You only had about a full row there.
Yeah, they didn't give us a lot of those.
Well, we didn't check a lot, huh?
The only reason I ended up with 12 was because I went into, like, hookshot cave. I think had 1.5 in it.
Yeah, both of your item collection rates will be coming up on our stream soon, so we'll get to see exactly how much you didn't check.
And then arrows were in Ganon's tower. I imagine they were right side because checked everything else.
Yep, it's got to be one of those 5 chests.
I was contemplating Dark Magician route too. I'm not sure how much it would have helped me, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably likely to have gotten those silver arrows. I guess an 80% chance that it's on the not in the tile room.
yeah, I would
We
have.
we do want to point out that on our restream, Scary Olive has just finished. We'll grab an official time right now. Scary Olive has finished 3rd on our restream and 22nd place overall with a time of 1:36:28. And we are going to be bringing Scary Olive in to chat with us for a little while.
Trencher with a collection rate of 123. That is quite low.
Hey,
We are joined by Scary Olive. GG.
GG to everybody. Trent and Chloe. Power.
GG.
Jeez.
So, Scary Olive, what do you think of that seed?
I'm a bit sad that I waited so long to go check the bumper cave. I knew there was an item there from the eastern end, but like it was not on the route I was going. So, and I'm like, okay, one item could be most of the items I don't have, and it doesn't mean it's gonna be the red cane. So, but I regret now doing ice and that mountain before, because I could have saved a lot of time. Also, like I think if I redo the seed next time after swamp, I liked my route all the way to swamp, but after swamp you go then do Thief's Town and Skullwoods, and then maybe you find the red cane there. But there's no reason to do ice if you have still Thief's Town and swamp and Skullwoods, because I realized after that, like, I still have to open the chest in Thief's Town. You cannot really go mode this dungeon. It doesn't save a bit of time. So if the red cane is there, it would have been better for me. And boots were there, which would have saved a bit of time too.
Did you get the hint about the boots being in Thieves' Town? I think it was the Spectacle Rock hint. Did you check that one?
No, I didn't. If there's no item there, I don't go for the hint.
All right, so you stick to the traditional. You check the item first, and then you don't bother going for it blind.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the Thieves' Town boots hint. We were thinking perhaps if you knew that, you might have gone to Thieves' Town a little bit earlier.
Yeah. No, I don't. I try not to change my route for the hints. Maybe I should. Maybe I'm an old timer, but
I understand that. When I started doing these qualifiers, I learned the Spectacle Rock bomb jump so I could make that hint check a little more efficient.
yeah. And my Ganon Tower was really bad. Like I think I took a death, and I had the problems. I had to go use a shovel.
Right. Yeah.
I was really close to death multiple times in the tower.
Yeah, we were heart rate was going really high when we saw
Yeah.
that fairy.
Oh
the
my god.
powers.
It would not play nice. And then there was a fairy at the beginning of the gauntlet too. Then I'm like, oh, this is nice. And then it hung out on the north wall, so I couldn't actually get it.
Yeah, I should have picked up the red mail. I would have saved maybe 1 minute there. I thought, oh, I'm gonna lose 15 seconds to the red mail, not getting that, but then I died. Because I wanted to keep the blue potion for Ganon, because I had not the lamp. I don't have the lamp. I don't know where the lamp was. So I was like, okay, if I could miss, and I had only 1 bottle, so if I'm missing shots with the silverless, I'll need magic. So I didn't want to use my magic when I was 1 heart, my blue potion, but I could have I could have.
Lamp ended up being in Kingston.
Oh, okay.
Okay, weird location, but okay.
Yeah, I found
Yep.
it when, because I just went, because I had the hint for the Cape hint, and I'm just like, well, let's go do the North route because I have boots now, and it's a convenient lamp. In fact, the lamp I think locked Titansmiths technically, which is weird for Kingstoon.
Yeah, I think the other way around. The Titansmiths. No. The
They
lamp-
locked the flippers.
Yeah, they
Oh
locked the
yeah,
flippers,
yeah. Okay.
and then
Yep.
and then the myths were in swamp. So yeah,
Yeah, interesting. We should point out that Duke Firebird has made his way into Ganon's Tower. You guys weren't watching the restream, of course, but Duke Firebird skipped the basement of Hera because I think what happens is he accidentally missed the big chest in Hera, didn't get the small key, and therefore didn't do the basement. So Duke Firebird went about an hour before he picked up the hammer, and so he's in Ganon's Tower now.
Wow, we believe in him.
Yeah.
Duke Firebird got his Dark World access by doing Dark Aghanim's Tower with the Fire Rod.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Huh,
Yep.
and he's not doing so bad.
I mean, we have 140 doing that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a real testament to Duke's execution that he's stayed this close to the rest of the pack. Basically doing without the hammer, doing every possible in sequence and out of sequence thing before going back there.
He must have thought that the lamp was in Hera basement or something.
That's what we thought, but then when he went back to Hera, we saw he never opened the big chest, so
Oh,
we're not sure if it was if he forgot the big chest and thought that the basement was locking itself, or we will ask him. He'll be done in a little while because he's on his way to the right side of Ganon's Tower right now, making his way towards Bob's chest and the Ice Armos fight.
So did other people find the Fourth Sword, or did they do the same thing I did and do Big Bomb?
Everybody's done Big Bomb.
It was a cute sword. It was like I knew that there was a sword. I was like, yeah, sure. It's easier to do Viti with that, so it was like, okay,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
do that sword.
Not looking forward to the Master Sword Silverless Ganon.
Yeah.
That int made me choose to go to Pod before I do Thieves Town and Skullwoods, because I was like, it's a crystal, red crystal one pod, and if I do it and then it gives me like the myths, I could do ice also really fast, and then I could have a Master Sword really fast, which is gonna help for the rest of the seed. And then it worked out in a way, but in
Yeah,
another way.
when I got the hint that Thieves Town had the boots, I tried to get there as quick as I could.
Yeah, I never got that. I'm just glad that Easton had that very, very generous in of Bumper Cave ledge. That saved me a ton of time.
Yeah, that's the only thing that was in Eastern.
Sadly.
I feel like a lot of the quicker finisher runners just skipped Eastern.
Yeah, must have.
Yeah, for reference for chat, if you're not looking at the race results, our top three finishers were Thalane at 1 hour 15 minutes and 50 seconds, Erairor at 1 hour 17 minutes and 16 seconds, and Prior 57 at 1 hour 18 minutes 52 seconds. So that gives you a sense of where the top finishers were coming in on this seed.
Yeah, they were pretty good, so it gives me a bad decimal number for the thing, but I need to get a good time tomorrow, otherwise I don't think I qualify.
Oh, head up. It will work, no worries.
Yeah, I'm on the edge myself too. This puts me like 1/100th of a point away from not qualifying.
Yeah, we'll have to see not only where your scores go, we'll have to see how the overall scores are affected by today's race. Sometimes
Yeah, we all know what happens.
Trent finished what, 14th,
15th.
15th? I finished right after him at 16th. So, and I know my score's a 0.8 something.
Yeah, it's like if we go by the average, it's like 12 to 13 minutes. So yeah.
I mean, I can't. It's not like I can. I felt like I did fairly good. It's just I was outplayed.
Yeah. That's the thing with these qualifier. It doesn't matter like your actual place in the race. It's really does somebody finish a race with like go mode route super quick with perfect execution.
Yeah, let's see. What was it? Skipping Eastern Palace, going straight to Pod,
Skipping desert.
skipping desert. Yeah, just
No,
well,
you still have to go to desert for
had
the
to,
gloves.
Yeah, you have to technically go through desert no matter.
Right, the gloves. Yeah.
Did you go back and finish it or?
No.
Oh.
I got the boots and go mode.
Yeah, none of our featured runners finished desert. Though Duke Firebird is currently killing Landmola for the first time and gets it done nice and easy with a couple of fire rod shots.
Just 3 more races. Exciting.
Yeah, these qualifiers have been really exciting, really enjoyable to play in. I know as both a commentator and somebody who's participated, it's there's something really exciting about participating in a really big race. This one was one of our smaller ones actually, with only 40 something entrants. But some of the races have gotten really big. We've had races over 100 people for these qualifiers. Do you have any thoughts on the system they've chosen to go with the points rather than the placing? Any or all of you?
Yeah, like I like the points idea, but I don't like that only the top 3 average is chosen, because in very big races like 100 people, it's like if the 3 who like for instance who can hover and it's like a hookshot less seed, you get the idea what can happen. Like a very can really outweigh
Yes.
many people.
Yeah, and we saw that happen. Andy managed to do that in one of the races. I think Christos mentioned in the tournament discussion that if they had known how many people were going to be signing up for the races, they would have gone with top 5 instead of top 3. And I think that would be a good call going forward.
I actually think they should do, like, the way they do the races, the way they do the actual score, they eliminate the best and worst. I kind of think they should eliminate the top 5 and the least 5 people who finish, and then average people based off that. The scores will end up higher overall, but it will prevent outliers from massively influence the race.
I can see the logic behind that. If you're going to be dropping each individual person's best score, why should that best score count? Yeah, I could see the logic behind that. For those of you who are watching and who are not exactly sure what we're talking about, each person is required to do exactly 5 qualifier races. Their score is basically a comparison of their time to the average of the top 3. So it's not based on where you place in the race, first, second, third. It's based on how well you do in comparison to the top runners. And every person has their top score and their lowest score dropped. So they take the average of the middle 3 for the overall score. And the top 96 will be getting into the group stages, which will start in a little while because the qualifiers are finishing up real soon. Duke Firebird is on his way to the Ganon fight.
Nice triple.
Yeah, nicely done. Duke Firebird's execution has been pretty swell to keep him in this race, like with the time that he has, based on the things he's had to do because of his routing. Before Duke Firebird heads down into the Ganon fight, I'd like to remind you that if you like what you see today, our trackers have been the Vinyl Knight and Zulmega, so show them some appreciation. Throw these guys some follows, our runners, our trackers. Let's take a look at this Ganon fight. Duke Firebird not quite getting the 1+1 cycle with the Tempered Sword, but gets a great spot for the second phase and can put some double spins into Ganon here. That should be enough. Oh, don't get hit. Ooh. Duke Firebird is down to 1 heart.
That is not a fun place to be when you're fighting Ganon, especially without silvers.
Well, at least they weren't in Turtle Rock.
Duke does pull off the torch glitch and is going to be showing us how a silverless fight looks. With optimal timing, you'll get 3 hits each time. Duke opting to use the lamp to light the torch each time. I think you can save a little bit of time if you hold your spin and then use the fire rod to light the torch. I think you can get those triples easier, getting 3 spins per lamp light. But whatever gets the fight done.
Yeah, he's probably playing more safe with the 1-hit KO mode.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. And still, that's a great silverless fight there from Duke Firebird. A bit of frustration slashes at that door. And Duke Firebird is going to cross that bridge and finish this qualifier 28th place overall with a time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 34 seconds. GG to Duke Firebird. And we are joined by Duke Firebird. GG.
I don't feel that way, but thank you.
Well, we were just pointing out as you were finishing up that fight that Ganon fight was a good example. Even with the difficulty you faced in this seed, to finish with a sub 2 after doing Dark Aga with the fire rod and stuff like that, searching basically every possible location, it still is an indication of some really nice skill on your part. It's just unfortunately, because of the way that seed worked out for you, not reflected in your time.
Okay.
So you said in the waiting room that you need to learn how to count. Did you miscounted the items in Hera, and that's why you left the hammer there?
Yep. I honestly thought that either the big chest or the fire room chest had the compass. For some weird reason, I thought when I picked up the compass it was something else, and I don't know why.
Yeah, it happens. It does. It happens to all of us. You play Randomizer long enough, something like that happens. It's a shame it happens in a qualifier like this. Was this? I think you mentioned in Discord before that this was your last race, your last qualifier.
Yeah, this is my last qualifier, and to be perfectly frank, this qualifier, the only way my score could go was down. So it's just I was playing this just to complete it out. So.
Alrighty then. Well, we were talking before you got here that the qualifiers have been at least an interesting experience. How have you found them? The experience of running in perhaps bigger races than people normally do. The scoring system they've developed. What do you think of the whole thing?
That was pretty good. I mean, I do like the fact that it's not based on place, because if you got, let's say we have a good seed where literally the top 30 are within a minute of each other, should that 30th place person be penalized? I don't believe so, which is why we have the time system. That works perfectly.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus, is that this is a step forward from, say, like the summer tournament where it was based on place. I did mention I want to underscore for people who might not have been watching it. Like you went through, you did Aghanim's Tower in the dark using the fire rod, and that was we were hoping perhaps when we saw you doing that the hint in Aghanim's Tower would be helpful. Maybe you'd get some benefit out of it, but you got a joke hint there instead.
Yeah, what I wouldn't give for a spoiler for the race ROMs. Yeah, and the whole aspect of I knew I was sequence breaking at the point, but it was one of those I could not think of what to do, and it's better to do something than it is just to sit around and think. So I figured, okay, I know I can do Aga Tower, and if I can get through that, maybe something will be in pod. And then, hey, flippers were in pod, and then I'm like, that doesn't unlock anything because flippers were the alternate way to get into pod without the hammer. And at that point, I knew a hammer had to be somewhere. So I was like, where didn't I check? And I was like, okay, Desert's boots locked, so I know it's not there because boots are in Thieves, and I can't get the Thieves. And the only other thing I had was Hera, and I'm like, did I get everything in Hera? Hence the frustration quake.
Yeah, we saw that. You had some frustration. You had a little bit of tilt. You got I think you got a dead rock just to add. You also got a You got locked when you were on your way to Hera basement anyway. You had to mirror out and do it again.
Mm-hmm. Got the corner on the coffee break, and that's really frustrating.
Ah well, it happens. It happens.
It happens to the best. You never know.
Well, to the four of you, Duke Firebird, Chloe Prower, Scary Olive, Trenter TR, GG to all of you. Any of you have last thoughts you want to leave us with?
GG's to everybody, and if you guys make top 96, good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you to Firewood King and Virtua Cat, also the tracker for doing this for the community. Pretty nice, and good luck to everybody for the remaining races in the tournament.
Absolutely. I will reiterate that. Our trackers today have been the Vinyl Knight and Zul Mega. Thank you to them. Our restreamer has been Danny, helping us out here on the ALTTP Randomizer channels. If you want more rando, we've got the ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer, what is it now, 2 through 5, I believe? We got Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6. So there will be more Randomizer, there will be more tournament. If you like Randomizer and you want to see us do some really interesting, unusual things, come and join us for the group phase when our runners will be picking variations. If you want to see more swordless, retro, key sanity in tournaments, our new version 30 inverted mode, come and join us for the group stages. Take a look at that. I have been Firewood King, and my co-commentator has been Virtua Cat. I'll leave it to you, Virtua Cat. Take us out.
Bye.